Here we go, we're in the first mile of a 100-mile bike tour over 2 days. My trip started in the southeastern suburbs of Columbus, first taking me through Canal Winchester and then the historic part of Pickerington known as Old Pickerington, where former village homes have been transformed into unique shops, studios, eateries, and offices. The city quickly gave way to the country, a place of old barns and open fields. It is a little windy out today, but fortunately it's a crosswind, and it's not too bad. I'm not going head on into it. I reached the Buckeye Lake area, where I would take a greenway that followed the old towpath of a barge canal. There was plenty of small wildlife, and even a covered bridge along the path. The next place I came to was the village of Hebron. In my experience, there's always a local ice cream shack in small villages like this, and Hebron didn't disappoint. I took a little break at Hayden's Dairy Bar and enjoyed one of my favorite concoctions, a Reese's Flurry. I continued my travels north into Heath, where I was able to get off the busy road that led out of Hebron and onto a nice, quiet bike path. The path went near the airport, and I watched an old biplane fly around the beautiful blue sky. This path ended at the Boeing facility, and I was back onto roads for a short distance. Once I got into Newark, I got onto the T.J. Evans bike path. The path had tunnels and bridges to keep riders separated from automobile traffic. It was nicely maintained and wound its way through wooded and scenic areas. As I rode over a small cobblestone bridge and then around a gentle curve, I again found myself riding on the old towpath of a barge canal. Remnants of old locks were still present, and there was a graceful openness to the area that made riding quite pleasant. Shortly out of Newark, I noticed an Ohio historical marker next to a small cemetery. This turned out to be the final resting place for John Sparks, a guide from 1805 to 1807 for 2 expeditions into unknown parts of the westward expanding country. There are only 4 other headstones in the cemetery, which is nestled in between the North Fork of the Licking River and a railroad that runs along State Route 13. Rolling hills are the backdrop of both sides of the highway, giving this area a unique character. My trip for today would end in St. Louisville, but I was happy knowing that tomorrow would bring more riding. So it's day 2, about 9:30. I'm just getting started. Looks like there's some weather, some rain, maybe some thunderstorms off in the distance that I'm trying to go between the rain cells. And I mean, it's almost for sure that I'm going to get wet today, but we'll still enjoy the ride for what it is. So far it's only sprinkled on me a little bit, and I've been riding for a little over a half an hour, but you can see the sky is getting darker. I think I've just been getting lucky, and as I'm riding south it's moving off to the southeast, and I'm just barely missing it. My ride skirted the edge of the Newark campus of The Ohio State University. I decided to spend a few minutes exploring the campus. It was wide open and serene on this overcast day. At the time, I didn't know that I would have little exploring ahead of me due to rain and thunderstorms that would catch up with me. I made it to the Great Circle Earthworks just on the south side of Newark, right as it started to rain, so I decided to just take a break here in a picnic shelter and see if this rain will pass by. So we'll give it a little bit and then we'll pick back up. So this is the Great Circle Earthworks, and it was made by the Hopewell Native Americans about 2,000 years ago. And as you can see, it's in a big circle. That sort of hump that's coming into view now and around the center of the screen, that is what they call the Eagle Mound. Okay, it's 12:15. The heaviest of the rain has moved through. We're going to get started again, and I'll have to keep watching the weather because it looks like there's another band that's moving from the northwest to the southeast, and it's south of here. So we'll just keep an eye on it, and we'll find another spot to stop if we have to. Heavier rain has caught up with me again, and I found another shelter house, so I'm just hanging out here for a few minutes and see if it'll pass or lighten up. All right, it's 2:15. The rain has lightened up. It's a lot better out there, so we're going to get started again, heading to Buckeye Lake. So about 3 o'clock, I had to take cover again because it was raining really hard. Winds were getting pretty gusty, and I was going to have to ride on a highway. I wasn't really looking forward to that. Worried about the vehicles and whether or not they're seeing me. And just decided to call it quits and bail on the rest of this trip. I'm about 20 miles from home. It would have taken me a couple hours of riding into a pretty strong headwind. More storms are on the way, and there's nothing but a long line of rain moving from the northwest to the southeast, and I would have had to traverse all of that. So decided that I would just call it quits, and we'll do this another day.